Love this hat. Shout out to Florida 32 ounce. So this is my happy birthday video. It's going to be a malt liquor video, of course. Happy 50th birthday to me, malt liquor. So I started thinking about my future. And I don't normally make videos about that, do I? I don't, really. The idea, I think, has been for the longest time, it was always my goal, and almost an unbelievable goal for me, is to buy a house. And now I've got one. I'm buying it. My name's on it, though a bank owns it. But now that I've attained that goal, what does my future hold? What am I capable of? And the thing is, just recently something happened that made me more capable. And I want to share that with you as my birthday video. So this is going to sound a little weird, except for I did look this up on the internet, and I found examples of it. I talked to 2 different doctors, and they'd never heard of this before. So I had a very, very minor operation, or whatever you call it, a thing done, and there was extreme pain. They gave me like these hardcore opiate drugs. Honey, you're just gonna have to sit down, baby. Just gonna have to sit down. Relax. Keela's in a mode today. I got these hardcore drugs, so I couldn't take them at work. So I go to work, and I'm just in extreme pain. I come home, I take these pills, and I've never had anything like them. Instant ecstasy. I just felt amazing. Just through the roof, happy and euphoric. They're just fan-fucking-tastic. I almost choked on that. It's just so good. And then the next day, right back to extreme pain. Then the evening, extreme euphoria. Then the pain started going away, and I started tapering off on those pills, and then the pain started coming back, and so I started up on the pills again. And then I called the doctor, and I'm like, my pain level at this point in time is higher than it's ever been, and I was told that actually the healing would have been done by now. So they thought it was an infection. So I went in, and they didn't find any signs of infection. They got me on antibiotics anyway. Gave me a prescription of the same pills, and I went right back to that cycle of pain, euphoria, pain, euphoria. And at the end of that, let's call that a couple months. I've had all these negative mannerisms, basically based on hyper-awareness. Based on hyper-awareness, like if I go into a parking lot, I can tell you where there's any broken glass in the parking lot. I can tell you how many people are in the parking lot and what they appear to be up to. Like someone kind of like walking along, glancing into every other car, I would notice that right away. When I walk into stores, I see people shoplifting on a regular basis. Or I used to. What happened after this pain euphoria several month cycle of extreme chemical reactions in my body, it was all gone. Things about how I walked, how I held things. There were so many mannerisms that had just vanished that I was only aware, like for instance, when I hold Akila's leash, I hold it like in a fist, an activated fist, like not a relaxed grip, a fist. And I realized I was walking along holding his leash with a couple fingers, just dangling it in my hand. There were tons of things like that. It was all gone. Like basically like something that you'd go through talk therapy, say like, hey, listen, I was homeless for a long period of time. I lived under a huge amount of stress, financial, financial worries, physical worries, living in like really bad conditions, like sleeping in temperatures that would get so cold sometimes it would wake me up because I didn't have access to heat. Working like 3 jobs at a time, working security jobs where violence was not only often, but like I worked at places that paid me more if things got violent. It all gone. It was all gone because of that chemical flooding of the brain. Basically, like did a recircuit. What do you call that when you flip the circuits back? You click everything off, click things back on. It was like a reboot. I had a chemical reboot of my mind. Now, not only is this amazing. Okay, so since this happened, and this was a while ago, I've had one anxiety attack. And it was on Thanksgiving. And that's connected to, I believe, my past. It's past negative memories. So those mental connections are still, they weren't disrupted. But the thing is, like, I haven't had an anxiety attack since that moment, and I've just had one. And I don't know if I've made videos about like depression and things like that, but I'd have anxiety attacks. It's hard to put a number. It kind of depends on what happens. Something stressful would happen in my life, and then someone would come knock on my door because they have a package to deliver, and suddenly a ton of adrenaline in my system, my heart's pounding. I used to have them in my sleep. So I used to wake up having an anxiety attack. And man, you don't know what that's fucking like. I guess it's like waking up to a heart attack. It's all gone. I've just had that one. And getting stressed out on the holidays, I imagine a lot of people do that. So I'm not going to beat myself up about it. But we'll see. Like, what if now that I can anticipate that, like maybe Christmas might have some similar feelings of anxiety. So I'll plan ahead to have an extra special, relaxing Christmas planned, and see what happens. So my potential now is like, my future goals was the house for so long, and then I got the house, and like, what are my future goals right now? And now, without these negative mental behaviors, the heightened awareness, I just kind of get the feeling that, like, right now, my life now is like a boat, and I'm sailing across tide, currents, the wind, the weather, the lunar cycle, all these things that affect how you could navigate your boat. But I was also dealing with chemical, electrical pathways of my mind that had me see life in a certain way, and that suddenly vanishes. And so I kind of feel I'm seeing things a little bit more clearly, and that kind of makes me think that as I get better at guiding my boat into the future, the boat is my life, who knows what I might discover. So it might not be any more about what I could, those fucking dogs. It might not be any more about, like, what my goals are. It might just be about getting really good at piloting my life forward and discovering what's out there. What's with where the wind and tide and current and all that is taking me along, and I get better at handling my life with the least amount of negative aberrations. Who knows what I might discover? Some sort of mental, emotional, physical Hawaiian Islands, maybe. Maybe reefs, I don't know. But no, it wouldn't be reefs, because, like, you get good at guiding your life and you see those things coming. You just don't see the Hawaiian Islands coming. There's reefs everywhere. So Hawaiian Islands are very specific. So it fills me with a lot of hope. A lot of hope. A lot of positive hope. Oh, when I said earlier, like, these doctors hadn't heard of that. I looked up, there were studies on chemical resets of the mind using different drugs like psychedelics, basically things that would mind expanding drugs, which basically it sounds to me more like mind resetting drugs, getting you out of the worn pathways, chemical electrical pathways of your mind, and then putting them back in the original channel, the original current. So there you go. Happy 50th.